In the name of Allah, the Merciful, the Beneficent. Now with the main headlines. UN unable to deliver aid to Gaza amid border closures. Russian President Vladimir Putin sworn in for another 6-year term. Imam Ali Holy Shrine implements largest scientific and cultural project for children. Bangladeshi Prime Minister calls for new funding sources to support Rohingya refugees. Assalamu alaikum dear viewers, this is Amir Ma'ash and you're watching Shia Waves live from Imam Hussein TV 3. The United Nations has warned that it is unable to deliver critical humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip following the closure of the Rafah and Karim Abu Salim border crossings. UN spokesperson Stephanie Dujarric cited the latest report from the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, stating that we cannot bring in humanitarian assistance, cannot access nutrition supplies. We need to treat more than 3,000 children with acute malnutrition. We cannot access the fuel needed to power our response efforts. According to the UN, there are at least 700,000 women and girls in Gaza, 93% of whom do not feel safe in their homes and shelters. The UN also reported that 80% of women in Gaza are suffering from depression and over 70% have heightened anxiety or nightmares. The ongoing genocide in Gaza has taken a devastating toll, with the health ministry in Gaza reporting nearly 34,800 Palestinian deaths since October. Israel is currently facing an international court case over allegations of genocide in the region. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, has taken the oath of office for another 6-year term in a ceremony at the Kremlin. The event was not attended by the United States and other Western countries in protest of Russia's involvement in the war in Ukraine. Putin, who has been in power since 1999, begins his new mandate as Russia's invasion of Ukraine continues over 2 years after sending tens of thousands of troops into the country. At 71 years old, Putin dominates Russia's domestic political landscape. On the international stage, he is in confrontation with Western countries he accuses of using Ukraine to try to defeat and dismember Russia. The engineering and technical teams at the Holy Shrine of Imam Ali, peace be upon him, in Holy Najaf, have started developing Ya'sub ad-Din educational and recreational area as a part of a massive scientific, cultural and intellectual project. This project aims to provide a distinctive educational and recreational environment for children and is being carried out by Al Muhsin Center for Children's Culture, affiliated with the Department of Intellectual and Cultural Affairs at the Holy Shrine of Imam Ali. Ala Jamil from the Al Muhsin Center for Children's Culture explained that the first phase of the project included developing the infrastructure and services of the location, as well as establishing a platform for young visitors to host cultural, intellectual and entertainment events, including theatrical performances and competitions. Jamil pointed out that the project's area exceeds 42,000 square meters and will be implemented in several stages with the participation of supporting departments at the Holy Shrine of Imam Ali, adding that 2 areas for children's games have been developed in the second phase of the project. Let us remind our respected viewers of today's headlines. UN unable to deliver aid to Gaza amid border closures. Russian President Vladimir Putin sworn in for another 6-year term. Imam Ali Holy Shrine implements largest scientific and cultural project for children. Also tonight, Libya hosts international conference on translating Holy Quran meanings. In a meeting on Tuesday with the International Organization for Migration, Director General Amy Pope and Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina urged the organizations to find new partners and raise additional funds to support the Rohingya refugees living in the country. Prime Minister Hasina noted that the funds available for the displaced Myanmar nationals have been decreasing, leaving them in a precarious situation, the source added. She called on the IOM to help facilitate the relocation of Rohingya refugees to Basang Char, a remote island that emerged from the Bay of Bengal in 2006. Since a brutal military crackdown in Myanmar's Rakhine state in 2017, the majority of Rohingya have fled to Bangladesh, with most living in overcrowded refugee camps in Cox's Bazar. However, since late 2020, around 35,000 Rohingya have been relocated to the island of Basang Char. Last year, the ration fund for Rohingya was cut from $12 to $8 per person per month, which is less than 10 cents per meal. According to the UN, these ration cuts affect approximately 1 million refugees who remain entirely dependent on aid with no possibility of employment to sustain their livelihoods. Now we continue with some short news. A delegation from the Republic of Madagascar and some French islands expressed their happiness to have the honor of visiting the holy shrine of Imam Hussein in Holy Karbala. The head of the Imam Hussein Museum Department, Ghassan al-Shahrastani, said the delegation came from the Republic of Madagascar and some French islands to have the honor of visiting the shrine of Imam Hussein and touring the museum, where they were briefed on its treasures. Al-Shahrastani added that the visiting delegation showed great interest in the landmarks depicted on the Thar Allah carpet, as it narrates scenes from the tragic event of Karbala and scenes from the captivity of the Prophet's family, peace be upon them, that touched humanity's conscience. A Pakistani court has ordered the transfer of Bushra Bibi, the wife of former Prime Minister Imran Khan, from house arrest to Adyala jail in Rawalpindi. Bushra Bibi, who was detained at Khan's Islamabad mansion since their January conviction for illegally selling state gifts, had challenged the house arrest order, citing concerns over contaminated food. The court granted her request and she will now be held in the same jail where her husband is serving a 14-year sentence. The ruling comes amid ongoing legal battles between Khan's political party and the government over his detention and conviction on corruption charges. The Democratic Republic of Congo is facing a worsening monkeypox outbreak, with 25,318 suspected cases and 1,204 deaths reported since December 2022. So far in 2024, there have been 5,133 suspected cases and 321 deaths, primarily affecting younger populations, the source mentioned. The DRC's health minister, Roger Kamba, has called it a real public health problem that has become a regional threat and ultimately a global problem, urging for mobilization of resources to address the crisis. Monkeypox, first detected in laboratory monkeys in 1958, is assumed to be transmitted from wild animals such as rodents to people or from human to human. What was once the site of a prominent protest has now blossomed into a vibrant food destination in India's capital. Shaheen Bagh, a Muslim-majority neighborhood in New Delhi, has undergone a remarkable transformation in the 4 years since massive demonstrations took place there. In the winter of 2019 to 2020, thousands of women staged a sit-in on a highway to protest a citizenship law that many Muslims felt discriminated against them. But the area has since evolved, with the protest site giving way to a bustling food street that now draws hundreds of visitors. The influx of outsiders during the demonstrations helped introduce the area's culinary delights to a wider audience. As the food's reputation spread, more renowned eateries opened up shop, offering a range of cuisines from Mughlai to Afghan and Turkish. The taboo of a bad Muslim, the taboo where Muslims are portrayed as terrorists or the ghetto is portrayed as an unwelcoming space, this taboo is being removed by what? Food. researchers have discovered a distinct genetic form of Alzheimer's disease characterized by the presence of 2 copies of the ApoE4 gene variant. The study, published in Nature Medicine, found that over 95% of individuals with 2 copies of ApoE4 went on to develop Alzheimer's pathology in the brain or detectable biomarkers. The researchers also noted the predictability of symptom onset in this genetic form, which was similar to other rare inherited forms of Alzheimer's. Individuals with 2 ApoE4 copies typically developed symptoms around age 65, about 7 to 10 years earlier than those without the variant, the article added. While further research is needed, particularly in diverse populations, the study suggests this ApoE4-driven form could represent one of the most common single-gene causes of Alzheimer's. Experts say this finding could significantly impact diagnosis, treatment, and prevention strategies for the disease. Under the sponsorship of the Islamic Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, an international conference on translating the meanings of the Holy Quran has been launched in Libya. The conference, organized by the Quran Academy, is taking place in the Libyan capital, Tripoli, under the auspices of the Ministry of Culture and Cognitive Development in Libya, and with academic support from ISESCO. The event is titled Accurate Translation of the Meanings of Quran and as a Means of Spreading Islam. The aim of the conference is to study current translations of the meanings of the Quran, discuss associated challenges, propose suitable solutions, and encourage research in the field, and plan for simplified and reliable translations of the Quranic meanings into widely spoken languages. On the first day, practical sessions were held with experts from Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, Iraq, Nigeria, and Oman to discuss various topics such as the rhetoric characteristics of the Quranic text in translation and interpretation, and the cultural aspects of the language of the Quran and its translation. We have reached the end of today's Shia Waves show. Let's remind our viewers of today's headlines. UN unable to deliver aid to Gaza amid border closures. Russian President Vladimir Putin sworn in for another 6-year term. Imam Ali Holy Shrine implements largest scientific and cultural project for children. Bangladeshi Prime Minister calls for new funding sources to support Rohingya refugees. Libya hosts international conference on translating Holy Quran meanings. You can view the latest news on Shia Waves website, or you can send news of your city or country to be published on our news agency. Contact us on the numbers at the bottom of the screen. This is the end of today's news. Thank you for watching. We pray to Allah Almighty to hasten the reappearance of the Master of our time. Wassalamu alaikum.
Karbala, a glimpse of his shrine would suffice. A flag graced by his holy tomb feels just as nice. Imam Hussein TV have the privilege of exclusively obtaining special flags from the holy shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam.